Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. It has been a few days. For most of you guys that know, I just moved to Peru. I am now living in Cusco at 11,000 feet altitude. My last video, I think, was a testament to how exhausted I was when I first got here. And we've basically just been kind of getting settled in over the past few days, while also taking on the new challenge in the game, which is Guild War. So today I'm going to be talking about just basically my overall thoughts and feelings about Guild War, you know, where we currently stand, what I think needs to be changed in order for this to improve in the future. And let me tell you guys, just like the thumbnail says, I think that it really is somewhat of a beautiful shit show for this for this new event out there. But I'm going to tell you guys, I've been having a lot of fun with my guild. We have really come together, and you know, for those of you guys that can manage it, you know, getting 30 people to come together from all around the world is no easy task, especially with the fact that we're all in different time zones. And as most of you guys know, it is really tough in this Guild War dealing with that, with people coming in at different times. And so I'm going to talk about, you know, basically everything that we've been going through over the past 4 days, my overall thoughts on Guild War. So yeah, that being said, let's jump in. I'm going to jump over to the Guild Wars right now. As you guys can see, our guild bonuses are around 10, 11, 8, and 5, so we're doing pretty much okay. In the guild battle itself, we are in the top 10. You know, surprisingly enough, I wasn't sure how our CB Flagship Alliance was going to do, CB standing for Curseborn, but all 13 of the Curseborn flagship guilds are in the top 100 right now, which is just absolutely phenomenal. I'm blown away, and my hat's off to every single one of the players in all of those guilds, their sub-leaders and their leaders, for really pulling this together. So that being said, my overall thoughts on Guild War is that it's really nice to have something new in the game, something that brings players together in a lot of new ways, and I like that. However, I do think that it is a tad overly complicated. Right now, I think there's about an hour and 20 minutes left until the new day passes over. There's some speculation as to whether or not we're going into the final day of keys resetting or not resetting. Are these going to be 5 days straight of Guild Wars? Because I'm not going to lie, guys, it feels somewhat like a second job. It is a lot of work coordinating people in different time zones, figuring out, you know, for every single player in the guild, which is 30, that's 150 mock results for 5 different stages per player, and trying to basically, you know, like coordinate that into like a focused attack on this is just kind of a nightmare, especially with a lot of things going on with Applebot, right? So, you know, Octo talked about it in his video about how the mocks don't match the live. I know this is a thing that we've all been dealing with for a few days. I honestly think that the live battles should be changed to reflect the mock battles, just because it makes them longer. I like that. I feel like these bosses are really fun to fight, and I like that they have, you know, the strategy going into this has just been really fun, especially considering that the strategy kind of somewhat changes between the different stages here and there. But that being said, at the very least, these mock battles have to be a true replica of the actual battles going forward. It is just an enormous headache. I honestly have no idea what they were thinking going into this. I just can't see an argument for how it's effective in any way, shape, or form. So I'm really hoping that they fix that going into the future. On top of that, I think that the fact that you have to wait until all the things are defeated in order to respawn, or like each of the bosses, I think that it would be a lot easier if we had like a spillover. So you could go and kill a stage 1 boss that had 10% left with a 20% attack. that would spill over into the next one, so that players are not constantly waiting on other players who are in different time zones. It just becomes like a freaking heated mess out there, right? So there are a lot of great things about this, and I love the fact that it has brought the community together. But at the same time, I think that these are things that are easily fixable. And, I don't know where Applebot's head was when they were strategizing this. It seems like they want everyone to be online all the time. Um, and I just don't think that that is going to last going forward. If Applebot wants these guild wars to be successful over a long period of time, they need to be aware of the burnout factor. And for one, I think that if the keys do reset in an hour and 20 minutes from now, that's going to be 5 days straight of guild war, coordinated attacks with 30 people in different time zones. It's just a bit overwhelming. I would say that 3 days would be like a sweet spot, maybe 4, depending on how many times Guild War is done per month, right? So, Calcifer, no, you can't come over here right now. That's my cat. So, I think a 4-day Guild War once a month would be great. It's something to look forward to. It's not overwhelming. Everyone can kind of come together and fight hard for the 4 days and then know that we have a good reprieve, right? Or a little bit of a break until the next one. If this is going to be happening twice a month at 5 battles a day, I just don't see how it's sustainable for a ton of players over time. And that's something that I don't want to see happen, because I know that everyone has regular lives out there. Ever Crisis is, as much as Applebot wants it to be like the center focus of our universe, it's just never going to be the case, right? So I think that they really need to take into consideration players' time, how we're coming together, and reevaluate, kind of step back to the drawing board with the next Guild War coming out and figure out how to simplify this for the players so it's not so much of a shit show next time, right? Like I said, I did very much enjoy this, and I am enjoying it. And I love the fact, because I did feel like Ever Crisis was getting quite stagnant leading up to this. We needed something fun. We needed something to pour our hearts into that was not the same old daily grinding events and crash battles, etc., which, they have their allure to them. But something like this is great. And the reason that I'm having this conversation is because I think that it has the potential to be truly great if they really sit down and put the players first. So I'm hoping that they do that. Now, let's see. I'm going to talk a little bit about, for you guys that are out there, it doesn't matter what rank you are, how you can come into this and approach Guild Wars, all right? So it looks like most teams in the upper ranks are putting together spreadsheets. So, for example, like the first thing that I did when this came out was we had a certain group of players, putting together team builds, different team builds, because not everyone has the same thing, right? So we had, a meta build for Vincent, his costume, and his new gun. We had a build for Vincent without his new banner weapon, right? Where he was just an Imperiler. We had a build without Vincent at all. And we created a thread in our Discord where we shared all these recommended builds so that players in the guild could look at them and base their teams off of them. Another thing that we did was, and I'm sure you guys have all gotten to this by now, is make sure that everyone in the guild submits their 5 mock battles. Now, I can't imagine that Applebot is not going to fix the mock/live problem, like the discrepancy and the fact that they are different when they should absolutely be like true replicas of one another. So I would guess that this is something that will be fixed next time, which will make it a whole lot easier. And when you have all 30 people doing those mock battles, it becomes a lot easier to kind of sit down and strategize and figure out where you need to go. Now, I'm going to show you guys something right here. All right, so let's go up to here. And this is in our Discord. It's just a bunch of stuff in here. All right, so oh no, this isn't it right here. Where is it? It's right here. All right, so I'm going to move this over so you guys can see. Essentially, from what I understand, there are and this says like stage right here, bonus points. I'm not quite sure these kanji, something points and guild coins, right? But essentially, like each boss has a series of threshold bonuses, right? So take stage 5, for example. And this is as far as I understand, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is correct. So when you take stage 5 from 100% down to 75%, you hit the first threshold, meaning you will get a bonus of 882,600, right? When you take it from 75% to 50%, you get a second bonus of 882,600%. Same at 25% and same when you kill it. You take 882,600, you times it by 4, and you get the overall boss kill bonus right here, right? Which is 3,530,400. This is the same for all the other floors. So when you're looking to use your last keys at the end of the night, what you're wanting to do essentially is come in here and focus on which thresholds you can hit. What you don't want is to basically right at the end of the night get to like 1% before the threshold, because you're essentially losing that bonus. I mean, for the last day, that would be a lot more important. For the other days in between, you can essentially, you know, fill in the gaps once the keys reset. But this has been our overall strategy going forward. And honestly, it is kind of like a big learning process for everyone. I think almost every guild in the game is essentially winging it right now. I mean, we have some crazy strong guilds up at the top. Free to play. I definitely don't think that they mean free to play. I think maybe they mean fun to pay. I don't know. So, but it looks like these guys are actually freaking totally crushing it. But other than that, it's a really interesting process going on. The problem is that it is a lot of work dealing with these guild wars. You're just basically overall strategizing this entire thing. You know, in the future, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to make videos covering this, just because we're all competing with one another. But I do want to make videos to help other players, because at the end of the day, you know, ranking high is fun, but it is what it is, right? It's a game and we come together, and I think that it's equally as enjoyable to see other people thrive and do well in the game. So I'm going to try and find a way to, you know, help you guys get through this as well. And you guys are welcome to hit me up in the comments. All my videos, I do my best to respond to all of them. I think I pretty much respond to all the comments in my videos. And if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to help. There's a lot of different ways to approach this, but not using, I think that the best way, if you guys are trying to be competitive here, is really to use spreadsheets to tally all your characters, keep track of the keys being used. And really that takes quite a concentrated effort, because you have to be in contact with everyone in the guild, make sure that everyone's on their feet, understand which time zones people are in, have certain people dedicated to coordinating attacks at different times of the day when other sub-leaders are sleeping. But once you start to get the whole thing organized, it gets a little bit easier. As of right now, we're still kind of trying to find that sweet spot with this right now. But I think that once this guild war is said and done, I will be, you know, sitting down with my guild and trying to come up with the simplest, most efficient way for essentially moving forward in guild wars in the future, so that they take the least amount of time from players, but we get the maximum amount of gain from them. So I think that basically covers most of my thoughts on the guild war. I might have missed some stuff. I'm still acclimating to like over 11,000 feet over here, which is definitely pretty tricky, but we're doing pretty good. So I think for the end of this video, I'll do like one mock against the stage 4 boss right here, just because it's pretty fun. There is kind of a little trick you can use. This is the team I'm using. It's Vincent, Matt, and Barrett, which I think is more or less the meta team, unless you have Lucia and Vincent, which I do not have Lucia or her Arcanum, so that build just doesn't quite work for me. But it's really quite interesting how Vincent's Reprieve comes into play in this battle. Vincent's Reprieve paired with Chaos Rampage right here, for all of you guys that are playing him, is a really insane combination where you can kind of just let the Grand Sword kill your team, proc Chaos Rampage, and just go on a literal rampage with Vincent right there at the end, which is really cool that the Guild War kind of reflects him, but at the same time, kind of lame that they made Vincent's banner a limit break draw banner. Yeah, so I think no one's really happy about that, and Applebot is trying to do everything in their power to squeeze pennies out of everyone. Everyone knows it, everyone feels it, nobody likes it. But the thing that they can do to make up for that is put in the extra work to make these events better for everyone. And it's not that much work. I mean, our guild could come together, I think a lot of guilds could come together and figure out in an hour a lot of ways that this can be improved for the average player. All right, that being said, the last thing here, the bonus weapons here, guys. I have mixed feelings on this, right? So my original feeling is that this seems like such a kind of gimme to higher paying players to give them an edge in battle, which just seems a little bit funny to me because they already have such an edge. It didn't seem like there needed to be another one. Now, that being said, I'm not trying to really compete with any of those kind of gnarly guilds at all. I'm just happy to work with my team, like have everyone come together as a crew and, you know, just do our best, right? It is cool, on the other hand, to actually utilize a lot of these weapons coming into it. So that is the nice thing about it. But like I said, I have mixed feelings with this whole additional equipment thing. All right, so that being said, at the end of this video, I'm going to jump into a mock. I'm going to show you guys how I would approach stage 4, for example. My average is like somewhere between 24% and 27%. You can test that by essentially just canceling the fight after Graviga. So I'll do my best right here to show you guys a strategy going forward. I'll slow this down. There are some major glitches here. Like, I'll try and get this to glitch right now on Vincent so that you guys can see how it works. But if you switch too fast from him when he's using his Sage Shot, it basically just gets stuck on him. All right, so okay, so it didn't work right there. But essentially, it can just get stuck facing Vincent, which is pretty dang funny, I'm not going to lie. But it also sucks as well, because you can't see the whole battle that's going on. There are so many frickin' glitches going on that it's like hard to keep track and like relay the information to you guys. Alright, so essentially I'm just getting off the Imperil, doing as much damage as I can right here, and healing the physical defense down as often as I can, right? I don't want to be too set up to tank the Grand Sword because I want it to put Vincent into the red. Alright. But at the same time, we do need to survive all the way there. Alright, so here we go. Typically, right when the Sage Shot wears off, I do one more Sludge Shot, just so that my next Imperil lasts all the way to the end of the fight. Alright, so I'm going to wait for my ATB to get all the way full right here for Sage Shot. Alright, there we go. Switch over to Barret. Switch over to Matt right here. Now we're getting pretty close to the end right here. Alright, so he's going to hit us with a few of these mighty stamps back to back to back. Alright, so I'm just going to heal. Vincent's going to get off one more attack. And Matt should potentially get off. I think I'm actually just going to Core Sting with Matt. Alright, and I'm not actually going to turn to the blue stance to block this. Alright, I don't mind if he kills Barret and Matt at all. I just want him to put Vincent into the red. I'm going to immediately Chaos Rampage right here, which will activate the haste because I'm under 30%. Alright, and then I'm just going to spam Sludge Shot right here. Alright, and this has been a really good strategy going forward. They slightly change depending on the level, but I think more or less in the actual mock, I can get one more hit off right after this Graviga, as long as my ATB is pretty damn close to to 3 right there, all right? So I'll get one more hit right here, and then I'll cancel out. And that's essentially how you figure out, you know, the mock to live correlation, which is kind of a real pain. I know for everyone in the game right now is just like, what the hell, right? But essentially, yeah, so like I said, 24 to 27% depending on the fight itself. And there's different strategies going into each one. In the future, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to be making videos. I think I'll definitely be sharing recommended team builds, more or less, and I'll probably put more strategies out there, maybe like 2 days into the Guild War. But yeah, that being said, guys, I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. I am back to making videos. I think I will do a to pull or not to pull on the new limit break draw. That one is tricky. I think more or less, if you get good luck on it, it can be a good thing for sure. But if you don't, like the 1 year anniversary is right around the corner. And if I had to take a guess at what is coming for the 1 year anniversary, I would say there's a very high chance of a Tifa Wind Arcanum limit break draw. I think that either Yuffie or Aerith will get a lightning Arcanum, maybe even Lucia. All right. And then I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I would say that Cloud and Sephiroth are going to get light and dark Arcanums. I think that light and dark is finally going to drop during the 1 year anniversary. So these new limit break draws are super enticing, but they're about to be heavily power crept by everything that's coming back out here. Applebot is doing everything in their power to bait you guys right now, to bait everyone right now, especially with what they're doing, because they know that what they're about to put out is going to be super, super hard to resist pulling for, and it's going to make it, you know, that much harder for everyone to stay strong. That being said, I am happy to be back. I hope you guys are all having fun. I wish you guys the best of luck out there in the Guild Wars, whether you are beating us or you're behind us, whatever it is. I wish you guys the best. Ask me any questions in the comments. I'm happy to help. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Take care and peace.